And Karma keeps her World Happiness Championship and keeps the scales of justice and equality intact. From a mystery audience member.
Looks like Finance and Dreamcatcher ain't too happy with the audience member interfering with their title match. Wait, the audience member has some votes to stand up to these two after losing to Karma. No way, the audience member did that. Wait, there's no ordinary audience member. That's Hobbsy the Honey's fight, and she looks like she's back for cheerful revenge.
For the Pain Finance and Dreamcatcher caused her back at Survivor Series by breaking her happiness model suit and putting her on the shelf for 5 months. Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter is back on the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. And she is on that WrestleMania 41 happiness high right now.
My name is Hobbsy, and welcome to Happiness Fighters Army, a army or a community where we fight for happiness and our dreams against our own version of our own darkness, be mental, physical, life situations, or the big bad world. Night 1, WrestleMania, done and dusted, people. And I will say overall, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like, oh my god, great. There's a couple things here and there I could have fixed to be better, maybe. But overall, it was a great night. And I feel like they're saving the biggest stuff for tomorrow night, night 2. So I understand why they didn't have as much, like, returning stars, celebrities interacting sort of moments tonight. Now, speaking about WrestleMania 41, night 1, Karma retained her championship at WrestleMania 41 with the help from a mystery audience member that turned out to be Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter Army General and Leader. Yes, Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter is back in the skit series of Taking on My Rivals in WWE, which is filmed and produced and edited all by me. And why this means so much and why I loved having Hobbsy come back and play her again is I actually had a down payment paid on a Pro Pass to WrestleMania 41. And I was going to do anything and everything to get this Pro Pass paid off and go. But finance, which is basically my financial situation in my real life, and what finance is based off of, basically ruined that for me because I just couldn't come up with the funds to continue paying off the Pro Pass. And that's where Dreamcatcher actually origin story sort of comes from as well, because that's me crushing another dream in my real life. And after that, I just did not feel comfortable playing Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter character, which started this whole skit series in the first place, because I was like, what if I could have myself in a WWE ring take on anything and everything that brings me down in life, which I call my rivals. And yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable playing her. Plus, she reminds me the most of Becky Lynch as well. she's like my inner man persona, and I just didn't feel comfortable after having my dreams crushed of meeting Becky Lynch if she's going to be there at WrestleMania, which I think it's going to be night 2 now, but if not, I don't care. I'm still going to fight for that dream, or that Ultimate Dream Championship that Hobbsy was fighting for before she got taken out by Finance and Dream Crusher with a broken happiness muscle and put her on the shelf for 5 months. So yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable playing her, so I had to take a step back. But something beautiful came out of this. I got to play other personas, other rivals of my life in the real world. And for example, like Finance, I said, is my financial situation in my real life. Dream Crusher is me basically crushing all my dreams or having my dreams crushed. Who else is? Karma is basically the karmic energy I feel in my life. The good, the bad, what I put out into the world. Dark Side came back. We had the anxiety twins, which I basically have in my real life, which is social anxiety and anxiety itself. And I just explored that avenue. And I love playing these characters. It's like my therapy. And I had to, in the long run, lose Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter for a while to discover those storylines, their origin stories, who they can be. And now that Hobbsy is back, I cannot wait for you guys to see what's coming next. I have filmed Backlash, and I have written out and voiced, edited Saturday Night Main Event, which is after Backlash. I just got to film it and edit it at the moment. But you guys are not going to believe what's coming next. It's going in a whole new direction. And without giving too much away, let's just say there is a new persona going to enter this role. So, yeah. Also, Hobbsy and Karma decided to go party in Las Vegas afterwards. Why not, I say? So, yeah. If you guys are loving the skit series, please let me know in the comments. Because as long as you guys are still loving it, I'm going to keep doing it. Even if you don't, I'll probably keep doing it until I run out of storylines. Because I love writing. I love coming up with stories. And this is a way I get to feel that itch, I'll say. Now, speaking about WrestleMania 41, I have to show you my outfit for WrestleMania 41. Don't know if you guys... I'll put up a photo. Yes, this was my outfit for WrestleMania 41, Night 1. You got your Man of the Masses t-shirt, which is a Becky Lynch t-shirt. I would have worn a Seth Rollins t-shirt, being a honorary Happiness Fighter Army member, but I just don't have one. I am putting off buying this for the Ultimate Dream Championship, which I'll talk about later in the end of this video. Then you got some, what I like to call my moo pants, which is basically spotted pants. I call them my moo pants because they remind me of a spotted cow. And then you've got the Elimination Chamber cap that I got at Elimination Chamber last year as well. So I liked my outfit. And yeah. Now, let's get on with the review of WrestleMania 41 Night 1. Now, I want to say before I get any further, if my clothes look different, it's because they do, because I am filming this video over 2 days because of WrestleMania being Night 1, Night 2. I want to do it straight after I finish watching it and get that happiness, because eventually it fades away. Also, if I sound sick, I am a little bit sick because of the weather here. My body's not reacting right to it, let's just say that. So with that, let's get in with the match, shall we? Now, I didn't take much notes. It's just highlights. If I've got anything wrong or any details wrong, I'm sorry. But yeah, I was just so enthralled in watching it. Now let's start with the first thing we have to address, the WrestleMania 41 entrance stage. I love this stage. I'm going to say it's best stage in WrestleMania history. In my eyes, anyway. It's got to be at least the biggest or the tallest one they've done as well. And I like how it was interactive and you had people sitting on either side of the stages or entrance stage as well. I feel sorry for those people that don't get to really see the cool entrances, but oh my god. This stage, whoever designed it, genius. Then we got an introduction from the newest Hall of Famer inductee, Triple H the Game, which I bow down to the King of Kings. I do. This guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm surprised he's not in there earlier than now. I watched his Hall of Fame speech yesterday. We'll say it's got to be a record for the longest Hall of Fame speech in history, but what he said, brilliant. Also, I've got to give a nod to Shawn Michaels, his buddy. His speech was the right amount of humour to compassion. It was just brilliant. He nailed that. And running Stand and Deliver as well, off of 59 minutes of sleep. I don't know how he did it. And then come back out later. This guy, I hope he's in bed right now. I really do. He deserves to go to bed and get some good night's sleep. I had an introduction to WrestleMania from Triple H and him saying it's worldwide, are you ready, sort of thing. And I love it. And as if it's been a year or more since the Triple H era started. This last year has been some of the best wrestling I've ever watched. I'm feeling that happiness like I did when I was a kid. So, thank you, Triple H. Then we move into the first match of the night. Jey Uso, Yeet versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was like match number 2 for me of the whole night. I loved it. I loved how his entrance, he got some of the parade flags with the Yeet on it and some of the Raider cheerleaders as well, and then he just came through the audience and everyone was yeeting. I'm going to say, it's got to be a record for the world's largest amount of people yeeting at once. It has to be. And we were just like all behind Jey. Well, most everyone. I'm not saying everyone is a Jey Uso fan, but most of the people in that crowd were behind him. Behind him were part of the Yeet army. I was too. I'm like yeeting my ass off at home. I'm like, come on, Jey, you can do this. And I loved his outfit. I'm going to say it. Best outfit of the night. Of night 1 WrestleMania, in my eyes. In the males category. Gonna say it. Best outfit, man. And then Gunther came out in his entrance. And then we started the match. And it was a pretty good match. We had a Jey body slammed Gunther. We had Gunther slap Jey out the ring. Like he slapped him so hard he fell out the ring. We had 2 spears from Jey in this match. We had 1 Uso splash near the beginning. A Samoan drop by Jey. Gunther at one point was like, screw this, I'm out of here, I'm gonna take my title and go home. And Jey's like, no. So he goes to do a suicide dive. And he runs into Gunther's belt because the ref's back's like turned at this point. Jey got the submission hold done on him by Gunther. And we had 3 Uso splashes in a row later in the match. Then at one point, Jay got Gunther's submission on Gunther. And Gunther tapped. And that's how Mr. Yeetamania becomes our new World Heavyweight Champion. And there's only one word to say this. Yeet! I am on a high of happiness. I knew Jay could do it. He deserved to be the World Heavyweight Champion. And we had the biggest yeet party ever. We're all yeeting our asses off. And then you see Jimmy in the ring, and he hands his brother the belt, and they celebrate together, which I just think was a genius move. And yeah, the whole audience was happy. I'm glad WWE went this way, because otherwise it would have been a massive upset. You would have had the fans on Triple H and all the creatives back, and it just feels right to say new World Heavyweight Champion Jay Uso. I'm loving this. Now, who could Jay go up against? I don't know. And that's what I love about this. We don't know who Jay's first title defense is going to be. It could be Gunther. He could be like, I want my rematch. It could be his brother, maybe. It could be anybody. And that's what I love about this. Jay Uso is going to give so many people new opportunities. And all I have to say is, yet to that, man. Then we move on to the War Raiders versus New Day for the Tag Team Championships. Eric used Kofi as a battering ram to take out Xavier at one point. Ivor did a crossbody onto the New Day outside the ring at one point. But in the end, the New Day cheated by Kofi holding down Ivor's leg so Xavier could get the pin, and now they are the new tag team champions. And I'm gonna say it, as a former New Day fan, I don't like this, but I respect it. Because you could have great face tag teams go up against them. You could have the Hardys return, Hardys versus New Day, that would be awesome. You could even have Big E return if he wants, and find a partner and go up against them. So I think this is the right move for business-wise. As a fan, I'm not happy with it, but I respect it. Then we move on to Jade Cargill versus Naomi match. First off, we got a new entrance and theme music for Naomi, which about freaking time. Don't get me wrong, I love the Glow entrance. I love Naomi Glow personality, but with her new Caution personality and music and entrance just didn't match in my eyes, basically. So I'm loving that we got a new entrance and music to go along with that. And it matches her personality right now. And I love that. Also, loved Naomi's outfit. It was so her. And I'm going to say it. She had the best women's outfit for night 1 of WrestleMania. She gets that award in my eyes. Now we move on to Jade Cargill's entrance. Now, I like the little intro bit of her entrance. How the Weather Channel got involved and said a storm's coming. I like that little play on character. But the rest of it, meh. Nothing against Jade, just meh. Naomi went into the audience barrier, was thrown into the audience barrier at one point. We had an X Factor from Naomi on the floor outside the ring. But in the end, Jade got the win with Jaded. And this is going to be very interesting to see if she gets involved in Bianca's title match tomorrow night. So, yeah. If not her, you could see Naomi get involved in that as well, because she's upset that she lost to Jade, and they could go down that storyline. I still got that theory that Bianca and Naomi attacked Jade together because Bianca knew that she couldn't take out Jade once they lose those tag team titles, so she took them out before they lost them. And I feel like that they are just fooling us all and be like, and then one day that it's going to come out and they're going to be like, we fooled you all, sort of thing. But we'll just have to wait and see how WrestleMania 41 Night 2's Women's World Championship match ends, or if they get involved in that. We move on to the United States Championship match between LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. I did say I would respect it if Jacob did win, like I wouldn't be mad. But overall, both deserved it either way. First off, LA Knight came out in a Maserati car, like a fancy car, which, not impressive, but I understand it for his persona. Fatui countered the BFT at one point. We had 3 moonsaults from Jacob Fatui to actually get the win in the end. This match was great. I just took minimum notes. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, so Jacob Fatui is our new United States champion. And I'm not mad. He deserves it. Where I could see this going is maybe Solo gets jealous and wants the title, or LA Knight wants his title back at this point. But there's ultimate possibility. You could even have Braun Strowman go after it. So, yeah. Move on to El Gran Mexican Luchador. I can't say his name, okay? Versus Rey Mysterio, which ended up being Rey Fenix because Rey Mysterio actually got injured on the match on SmackDown, where it was Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, and Dragon Lee versus American Made. So they had to replace him with Rey Fenix, which I understand wrestlers get injured. I was just really looking forward to it being Rey Mysterio, but I'm okay with Rey Fenix. It's still a Rey of some sort, so yeah. And to Rey Mysterio, I'm sending positivity, happiness, healing thoughts, and prayers your way that you get back physically better and medically cleared so you can get back to the thing you love the most, I say, and that is WWE Wrestling. Americano. El Gran... See, I can't say it. I know what it is, I just cannot say these names. So I'm just going to say American Mexican Luchador. We had a lot of back and forth. He tried to remove Rey Fenix's mask at one point, but it didn't work. And then we had that famous plate put in his mask, and Rey Fenix kicked him, but then his ankle got injured because of it. Then we had a ankle lock, which I still think this American Luchador character is Chad Gable. I would be surprised if it's not, but I still think it's Chad Gable. And then we had a flying headbutt from him with the metal plate in the mask, and that's how we got the win. Which, I get it, they want to keep this running, but I'm just done with it. I just want to find out who's under that mask, but I don't think we're going to find out anytime soon because WWE has brought WWE's brought the Luchador company of AAA, and there's going to be a PLE which is called World Collide, which they had one of the wrestlers from that company Vico. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. So they could be setting something up. The American luchador versus him at that Worlds Collide, and then that's where he gets demasked. So yeah. Then we move on to the Women's World Championship match between Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. Now, I love Tiffany's entrance, the whole Barbie dollhouse. It worked. I just didn't like her ring gear. It's not me. But I loved her entrance. And her ring gear worked for it as well, but I loved her entrance, I gotta say it. Being like the Barbie and then coming out of the box. It was brilliant. I'll say it. I'll give her that. And then Charlotte Flair came out in a Rolls Royce, which is like a Queen's entrance, I'll say, version. And like all other matches, I didn't take many notes, but we had a Boston Crab from Charlotte, a spine buster by Tiffany. We had Tiffany injure Charlotte's knee at one point. I don't know if it's re-injured to the point she's on the medical injured list, but it was injured and the knee brace did come off a little bit. And as soon as that happened, Tiffany targeted that knee, but Charlotte was like, no, if you're going to target my knee, I'm going to cause you to have a knee injury. And she slammed her knee into the ring pole, which I loved. And then she targeted that knee. And yeah, it was lots of back and forth in this match. A lot of great counters, a lot of great flips and tricks and all that. But in the end, Tiffany got the prettiest moonsault and retained her title. Which I'm bummed because I was rooting for the Queen. I wanted Charlotte to win. You could have set something up with Nia Jax and her. But I don't think this is over. Unless Charlotte is on the injured list, I don't think this is over. This is set up for Backlash. Charlotte's like, no, I'm not done with you. And just attacks Tiffany. And yeah, we get some sort of like maybe last woman standing, street fight, Hell in a Cell. Yeah, Hell in a Cell between these two at Backlash. I'm here for it. But I'll give props to Tiffany. She held her own. And yeah, and this also plays into my theory of like the older generation of women superstars taking on the new generation of superstars and how it could lead to a Survivor Series War Games match between the two generations. And if Charlotte's in there, you could have Tiffany in there. It's leading towards that as well, so I just can't wait to see where the storyline goes with Tiffany from now on. Move on to the last and most important match for the Happiness Fighter Army. And that match is honorary Happiness Fighter Army member Seth freaking Rollins versus the OTC Roman Reigns versus Punk in a triple threat match. Now, I predicted Seth for the win for this match. And I'm going Seth because he's an honorary member of this Happiness Fighters Army. And I am actually, like I showed earlier, wearing his wife's t-shirt. So I was always going to go Seth Rollins for this, even if he wasn't an honorary member. And this match, the way this match ended, genius. So we're going to start off with the entrances. The best entrance out of them all has to be honorary Happiness Fighter Army member Seth frickin' Rollins' entrance. And I'm going to say it's the best entrance of the whole night one. And I'm not saying this because he's an honorary Happiness Fighter Army member. I'm saying this as a WWE fan. Best entrance of night one. The way with the flamethrower and then burning it down, then going black and then coming up as an angel. Loved his outfit as well. Very, very angel-y. It was reminding me of when Shawn Michaels came down from the heavens in his match against The Undertaker. that sort of vibe, and I love it. And Roman come out. His entrance was pretty cool too. I will say, having the past Tribal Chief and Family Line members in his entrance was really good. Also, he's wearing the Ulafala, no Paul Heyman with him. And then he had CM Punk's, which took forever. And he had Paul Heyman come out with him, so which we knew was going to happen. And then before the match starts, Paul Heyman's standing in the only corner where no one is standing in the ring, like a neutral corner. So very interesting story-wise for that. And then Roman takes off the Ulafala and puts it down in his corner. Didn't give it to Paul Heyman, hey? And then the match starts. Punk goes out for a while, talks to the wise man, and then Roman and Seth just go at it for a while. And then Roman goes into a step because of Seth. Seth and Punk at one point go out into the crowd and wrestle out the crowd. Seth uses a trash can on Punk. Punk throws Seth onto said trash can. Basic out-of-ring stuff. And then Roman comes flying in from the ringside to knock them both down. Roman at one point uses a prime bottle on Seth. And then Punk at one point does a inverted DDT and a normal DDT at the same time. We got a Superman punch from Roman. Seth catches Roman as he's doing a spear to counter it into a pedigree. That takes some real good skills. Roman spears Seth by accident at one point. Well, sort of accident because CM Punk moves out of the way. At one point, Seth and Roman are in the ring down and CM Punk's down and Seth's explaining to Roman, why don't we team up? He's the cancer. Team up, come on, sort of thing. And it looks like we're going to get it because Roman's like, yeah, let's do it, come on. But then he takes out Seth. So that wasn't fun to watch. I was hoping we were going to get a mini Shield reunion, it would work. But now that I've seen the whole match, I get why it didn't work. And then both Seth and CM Punk get powerbombed through the announce tables, one each, by Roman Reigns. I was like, that's some power to powerbomb both of them onto those reinforced tables, which I don't think they were reinforced to make it look like they were, but still some strength. We had a figure four by Seth onto CM Punk at one point. I was like, tap Punk, tap, come on, tap out, but it didn't work. We had a chokehold on Seth after that. We had to go to sleep, a spear, a stomp, one after each other. That was awesome. Then Paul Heyman grabs a chair. And you have CM Punk on one side, Roman on the other, Seth's over in the other corner, and they're both like, give us the chair. And you don't know who Paul Heyman's going to give it to, but then he gives it to Punk. And I'm like, okay, he's aligning with Punk now. But then Paul Heyman hops in the ring, and I'm like, why is Paul Heyman in the ring? And as CM Punk's going to use the chair on Roman, Paul Heyman low blows him. I was like, yes. And then he gives Roman the chair. And he says, I acknowledge you, my tribal chief. So I'm like, okay, that's fair. I have no problem with that. So Roman's about to use the chair on Seth. And then Paul Heyman low blows him. And then Paul Heyman grabs the chair and gives it to Seth Rollins. He uses it on Roman like he did all those years ago as a stomp and wins the match that way. So honorary Happiness Fighter Army member wins the match for the Army. I am on a happiness high. I love this. And now we got Paul Heyman part of this army, man. I cannot wait to see where this goes. I'm saying it. We're getting a heel Seth freaking Rollins, and I'm here for it. And it could work if fellow Happiness Fight Army member Becky Lynch does return. If. That's a big if. Because on social media before WrestleMania, Bayley got attacked, right? By somebody. Everyone thinks that it's Liv and Raquel, which if it is, good on them, or they know her is, good on them. But who's to say it wasn't Becky that attacked Bayley? And then tomorrow, she ends up being Lyra's partner, and say they do lose, and she attacks Lyra because she wants the Intercontinental Championship. You could put Becky with Seth and Paul Heyman and have an unstoppable force in WWE. That's just my theory on that, where I could see that going. But if it's just Seth, fair enough, cool. He deserves to have Paul Heyman in his corner, and I'm here for it. And this isn't because he's an honorary Happiness Fight Army member. I just think it'd be a really good move, and I can't wait to see what happens. And yeah, so that's night 1 done. Now, I was going to rate like night 1, night 2, but I think I'm going to rate the whole thing, because I feel like night 1 could have been a little bit let down, but night 2 is going to be maybe better. So I'll do that at the end of this video. And yeah, I'm speechless. Night 2 of WrestleMania blew out of the park. I am on a happiness high like no other. My cheeks are so sore from smiling so much, but the pain I'm willing to put up with for this happiness high that I'm on. I can't believe what has gone down tonight. I will say more about it later, but we've got to get on with the outfit. This is the outfit for night 2 of WrestleMania. I call this Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter's Las Vegas Hangover Recovery outfit, because this is something that Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter and Karma would probably wear after going drinking in Las Vegas, celebrating their victory. Got a t-shirt representing Mummy, aka Rhea Ripley, fellow Happiness Fighter Army member. We got to support her. It's her day. She's got to get that championship back. Then we've got the long sleeve underneath, because it's a bit cold here in South Australia, where I'm actually from. It's a bit cold and rainy, and I need to keep warm. Then we've got the moo pants, which aren't actually moo pants. They just remind me of spotted cow. So that's why I call them my moo pants. And then, of course, we've got the Uggies to keep our tootsies nice and warm. So, yeah. And, of course, we've got the accessory of the World Happiness Championship by our side. So, yeah. This was my watching WrestleMania Night 2 outfit, and I love it. Now, speaking about WrestleMania 41, let's get on with the review of what went down on Night 2, which was so much better than Night 1, in my eyes. Okay, firstly, we start off with Stephanie McMahon coming out and welcoming us to WrestleMania Night 2. Then we start with the first match of the night, which is Io Sky versus fellow Happiness Fighter Army member Rhea Bloody Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the World Women's Championship. Now, I'm going to say it, this match was great. I was always going to back Rhea Ripley. She's a fellow Happiness Fighter Army member. She's a fellow South Australian, of course. I'm going to root for the homegrown hero. But I wasn't mad if Bianca or Io won. All these women deserve to have that title. And it was a great match. A lot of back and forth. And I will say, on Night 2, I didn't take many notes as well, because I was watching it, and it's hard for me to watch and write notes at the same time. So, first off, the entrances. Bianca's wasn't too bad, and I like how they had her stepdaughter in it as well. Didn't realise she actually had a stepdaughter, so that I learnt something new today. Io is just typical Io, Sky of course, but the best one out of these three has to be Rhea Ripley's. Her entrance, it was simple, but the way she came out and what she was wearing, oh my god. It was giving me a mixture of Triple H's Kings of Kings outfits from past years mixed with Xena Warrior Princess. And I love this look on her. And yeah, I love this outfit. It was so totally her, and I loved it. We get into the match, and it starts off with Bianca and Rhea staring down each other, and they're gonna shove Io, but Io was like, no, you're not gonna shove me this time. And then Io goes out. Mummy and EST at one point go at it. You knew this was gonna happen. They've been building this tension between them for weeks, so that was good. We had a double blockbuster by Io, 2 suplexes, and a vertical suplex by Bianca, a prison lock on Io by Rhea, a 3-way suplex off of the top rope where all the women went down and they're all down and out. That was a really great move. We had a spear by Bianca, a riptide by Rhea, headbutt by Rhea, a hair whip by Bianca, but in the end, Io won with a moonsault, and I'm not mad. Now, all these women deserve their flowers. They killed it in this match. They're just some of the dot points. There was a lot back and forth. It was so quick sometimes I couldn't even take notes. That's how good this was. I'm even going to say it's better than the triple threat main event women's match that was at WrestleMania 35 with Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. I'm going to say it. Now, where I could see this going is that they set up a number 1 contenders title shot either on Monday Night Raw or at Backlash between Bianca and Rhea. It could be a last woman standing match, Hell in a Cell, if it's at Backlash. But this isn't over between Rhea and Bianca. And Io, for a while, I think is just going to stay in the background and do her own little thing. But if you wanted to write a story for Io, you could have maybe Asuka return or Kairi Sane return or someone like that, and they actually get jealous of Io, so they take it out on Io and they turn on Io. Something like that if you wanted to put Io in a different storyline. But yeah, I think the Bianca and Rhea thing isn't over. And to Rhea, fellow Happiness Fighter Army member, don't worry, you gave it your all. Sometimes we have to lose to get stronger in life, and that's what happened today. And this is only going to make you stronger and more determined to get back that World Women's Championship and bring it back home to the Army. So, yeah. Then we move on to the Sin City street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Now, there is a little bit of a nitpick I have to say about this match. They didn't really go out into the streets much, and we didn't see much blood. But that's just my preference. I like street fights with blood and if they go out into the street. But what they gave us was a pretty good match. And Drew didn't wait, basically. Drew was like, screw it, I'm not waiting for the bell, I'm going after him. Which I love that when people do that sometimes, because waiting for them, their entrance and that, it just doesn't feel right. And especially in a match like this, where the aggression was already building. I just love that. Now, we had some steel steps used, we had a chair used, we had a table used, or actually 3 tables used in this match. Would have loved to see some more. I would have loved to see some different weapons, like a fire extinguisher, toolbox, because his brother actually handed him his phone and he took a selfie of Drew McIntyre down at one point in the match. See, that phone could have been a decoy phone and they could have used that in the match. I would have loved that. I love a good street fight also, like, that has a unique weapon in it. Because sometimes I get sick of tables and ladders and chairs and that. I just want something different. But that's just me. Drew went flying at one point. We had a South of Heaven from Priest with a chair wrapped around his head that Drew had put on to do a claymore on, but didn't work. We had the razor's edge through a table. We had pokes to the eye by Drew. We had a future shot DDT by Drew onto steel steps. Priest went through 2 tables. When he was going old school, Drew just basically knocked him down and he went into 2 tables that had been set up outside the ring. But in the end, Drew got the win with a claymore with a chair set up in a ring corner, and the turnbuckle had been exposed. So yeah, that was a really great match for what they gave us. I just would have loved to see more aggression out of it, but that's my preference. But it was a really good match because after the match, when they were panning to Priest was actually saying, "I can't breathe." So he couldn't actually breathe. So something's probably been injured, or it was just the momentum of the match. But I can't wait to see where this goes. I feel like this is done and dusted between these two, and either Priest will take some time off, or Drew will attack someone else. And he could even join the final boss and Fellow Happiness Fighter Army member fraction that I could see happening of celebrities, part-timers, social media people, and just run with that, because he was voted as Social Superstar of the Year at the Slammies this year, so they could run with that as well. So yeah, these guys killed it though, and I love the match. We had a little announcement, which makes me happy, of the future PLE that's supposed to be coming down to Australia in springtime, and we actually had a final what month it's going to be. It's going to be in October. They did like a little announcement of WWE TakeOver and saying that they're going to come for SmackDown, the PLE, which they haven't announced yet, which I've got a funny feeling it's going to be Bad Blood or Hell in a Cell now, and then Monday Night Raw. So I'm happy about this because as a South Australian, it's going to be in Perth. So I only have to hop over to the next day, and I'm going to work my butt off to get there, because at the last Australian PLE, which was WWE Elimination Chamber, I was there. I worked my butt off to get there, and it was the best time ever, and I want to go back. And they did announce in this package that it was going to be John Cena's last time in Australia, and as a John Cena fan that has never seen John Cena wrestle live, I have to be there before he retires. So I'm going to try my hardest, and if On Location, WWE, or Netflix Australia is watching this and wants to send me there, I won't say no, but I'm going to fight my hardest to be there any way possible. I don't care if the seats are shitty. I just want to be there so then I can see John Cena wrestle live. And if a certain someone, which I'll mention later, is going to be there, meet them. So, yeah. I can't wait to October. Hopefully, it's near the end of October, because my mum's birthday is on the 29th of September. And if it's a long weekend of that, it's going to be very, very interesting for me, because I'm going to try and get tickets to like SmackDown, because I'm going to try and get tickets to my first ever SmackDown and Raw this time as well. So it's going to be very interesting. I'll be a week over there if I can make it. So it's going to be very interesting. And yeah, I just don't want to miss my mum's birthday. But if it comes between my mum's birthday and going to this, I'm going to have to say sorry, Mum, but I'm going to have to go with that. If it's at the beginning of October. Hopefully it's near the end of October, though. fingers crossed. We move on to the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship between Finn Balor, Braun Breaker, Penta, and Dominic Mysterio. Now, this one shocked me who won, but I'm not mad with it. We had Judgment Day teaming up at one point, actually at 2 points, but near the beginning it was at 1 point. Penta went flying, Braun Breaker went flying in this match. We had a double German suplex from Braun Breaker, 3 amigos from Dom. Kalisto came out at ringside. You knew Kalisto was going to get involved somewhere in this match. We had a double suplex from Braun Breaker. We had the Frankensteiner from Braun Breaker. Dom goes to do a 619 on Finn, but Finn catches him and then he does a stomp beatdown on him. So it looks like the little breakdown of Finn and Dom's relationship. Kalisto gets involved 2 times in this match by taking people out. And then there's a moment where the second time he's trying to take someone out and Braun Breaker's on one of the ring announcement tables. Kalisto's on the other one. He does a running spear down onto Kalisto and breaks the table. That was epic. At the end of the match, we had a coup de grace from Finn. Looks like he's going to win, but Dom does a frog splash onto Finn and pins him and becomes our new Intercontinental Champion. And this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out in Judgment Day now. And I have a funny feeling Finn's no longer in Judgment Day. I think he's going to either get attacked or walked out, especially if a certain someone makes a return. You could have Dom beat down on Finn, and then this person, which I'm going to say is JD McDowell, because he was in Las Vegas at the Hall of Fame, sitting next to Kalisto. So if he's medically cleared, you could have him come back, team up with Finn, and then have Kalisto and Dom versus Finn and JD at Backlash. And yeah, this also could lead into Liv and Raquel's storyline, which I'll talk more about when I get to that match. But yeah, I feel like Finn Balor is leaving Judgment Day either by force or by his own free will. Then we move on to Randy Orton versus a certain somebody we didn't know at this point in a match at WrestleMania. Now, I was guessing Nick Aldis, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Matt Riddle as well, The Rock, everyone through the sun, bar this one person that they actually got out, and that is the TNA champion, Joe Hendry. We believe in Joe Hendry. Yes, that's right, Joe Hendry was the mystery opponent. A quick roll-up from Joe Hendry, but Randy broke the pin. He had vintage Orton moves. We had an RKO in the end win for Randy Orton. And then there was a little respectful moment between Joe Hendry and Randy Orton, which now that Randy's pinned the TNA champion, could he go for the title? That would be interesting. And then out of fun, Randy RKO Joe Hendry once again. So, yeah, I believe Randy can go for the TNA champion now. He's pinned him at WrestleMania, and that would be interesting to see. You could bring it to Backlash, Joe Hendry versus Randy Orton, TNA championship on the line. And, yeah, I will say I am a little bit disappointed that it wasn't Kevin Owens. I feel like they had a big storyline set up for Backlash between those two. But yeah, I'm not mad if it's Joe Hendry in there. Then we move on to AJ Styles versus Logan Paul match. And let's just say my predictions for this came right. And you see this guy sneaking around the ring. It's Jeff, Logan Paul's friend. Brass knuckles again. And I'm like, no, please don't let him win like this. And then you see this hand just stop. Jeff from hitting Logan the brass knuckles. It's Karrion Kross. I'm like, okay, maybe Karrion's turning babyface. So he stops Jeff from using the brass knuckles, and then he says to AJ, you use them. You should use them. You should win this way. But AJ knocks out Karrion Kross, but because of this, he gets distracted, and Logan Paul gets the win in the long run. So I see them setting up Karrion Kross versus AJ Styles, Hell in a Cell, Street Fight, some sort of violence match, last man standing match, at Backlash between these two, because it's just writing itself at this point, this storyline between these two. And I'm actually here for it. Both men deserve this match, so I can't wait to see if this comes true or not. Now we move on to one of my favourite matches of WrestleMania Night 2. And made me so happy and joyful and bubbly and couldn't make me stop smiling. And that is Liv and Raquel versus Lyra and a mystery partner. Now, for people that didn't watch on social media, Bayley got attacked backstage yesterday and was taken out of this match. And Adam Pearce said to Lyra Valkyrie, you got 24 hours to find a tag team partner. So that's what Lyra did, didn't she? And I'm going to talk about who it is in a minute, but we're going to get on to the entrances and outfits first. I like the matching outfits between Raquel and Liv. It was giving Britney Oops Baby One More Time vibes for me. Lyra wins best outfit of WrestleMania Night 2 in my eyes, with the feathers and the wings and the outfit. Oh, it was just so beautiful. I love that. If I had to tie her with anyone, it would probably be Rhea's outfit as well. But I would have to give it to Lyra. Best outfit of Night 2 in WrestleMania. And you see Liv in the ring, because Lyra had come out at this point. And Liv's like, who's your partner? Who's your partner? And then they pan to the doors. They slowly open. And guess whose music played? Fellow Happiness Fighter Army member, the man, Becky Lynch. She's back, people. Becky Lynch is back. And that made me so happy. I was on the happiest side. I squealed. I don't squeal unless I'm really happy when I'm watching wrestling. So I squealed so high. Just talking about it is making me happy and energetic and bubbly. And I love this. So yeah, Becky's back. We don't know how long, but she is back, and I am just so happy to see her back. Now, she didn't have to come back. I just think she wanted to come back because this is something she loves, by her family. And I'm happy. I was happy if she didn't come back, but I'm just super happy that she is back. And I'm going to enjoy her being back as long as we have her back in WWE, because she is at what I like to call her legendary era. She doesn't have to wrestle every week or every month. She can go off and come back whenever she wants. Like Lita and Trish and other legends like that. And yeah. So we have Lyra and Becky versus Liv and Raquel for the Women's World Championships. That just sounds good. And it's just story-wise, it's good because who's been saying that they retired Becky Lynch for the longest time ever? Liv Morgan. Whose last match with Becky was it? Liv Morgan. So I love that. And yeah, just to see Lyra and Becky team, I've been wanting this for so long. I didn't take much notes. I was just happy just to watch Becky. So if I get anything wrong or miss anything, I'm sorry, but I was just too happy to watch Becky wrestle. We start off the match with Liv and Becky in the ring. And we think, okay, we're going to get this final showdown between these two. Like, we're going to finally get these two duking out. But Liv's like, no, I'm just going to tag Raquel. Which, fair enough, is a smart move. She doesn't want to face Becky, fine. And for most of the match, Liv and Raquel were dominating Lara, keeping her away from Becky, and it's a smart move because Becky's like the powerhouse, Lara's the quickness and the agility. Even though they're both powerhouse women, Lara's the lesser of strength and experience as well. So yeah. At one point, Becky was pulled from the ring as Lara was going to tag her, and Becky was like, "No, finally, if you're going to pull me, I'm going to chase you around the ring." And she chases her around the ring, and then as she's getting in, she gets a big boot by Raquel, which I like for Raquel. That was a really good move. Then we get that final stare down moment between Becky and Liv. That revenge moment for Becky, and I loved it. We had the back exploder, a baseball slide from Becky, a disarmer at one point. I was like, tap Liv, tap. But it didn't work. We had a oblivion from Liv. But in the end, Becky got the manhandle slam. 1, 2, 3. We have new women's tag team champions, and that is Lara and fellow Happiness Fighter Army member Becky Lynch. We have those tag team titles in the Army. Yes! Yes, I am so happy that we have these titles in the Happiness Fighter Army, and I'm hoping we keep them here as long as we can, but eventually we're going to lose them, and that's okay. And we got both fellow Happiness Fighter Army members on the one night. My mind is still not comprehending that Becky is back in WWE. I'm still on Happiness High, and this was a great way for Lara to celebrate her first WrestleMania, and it just clicked in my head that Becky's been tag team champion with both her hero and the woman that's going to probably replace her. I just love this so much. And I even like the press conference of WrestleMania 41 Night 2, where Becky and Lara were being interviewed for questions, and she brought Rue into the press conference, and oh my god, Rue is so cute and adorable. And that story about the skunk, and I like how Rue was getting asked questions as well. It's just little things like that make me happy. So, yes. Now, where I could see this going in the future is simple. Liv and Raquel is probably going to want their tag team titles back. I know on NXT this week it's going to be Becky Lynch and Lara defending those titles against Chemical X Girls of Gigi Nolan and Tatum Paxley, which is going to be very interesting now because Lara and Tatum were maybe are still friends a bit, so that's going to be interesting. But if those girls don't win the titles off of them, I see Raquel and that winning the titles back. But I think the people that really need the first shot is PFC. Shayna, Zoe, they get first shot at those titles. And yeah. Okay, Backlash, I want to say, is going to be Becky versus Liv. And I'm calling it, if it's a singles match, like just those two, it's going to be Hell in a Cell. But they could set up something really special. Now, I talked about this in the Intercontinental Championship match review, but say Finn does leave Judgment Day and JD follows him, you could put Becky and Lara there, and then you have Liv and Raquel on the other side and have like a mix 8-man tag team match between all those people. So, like, what I'm saying is you have Finn, JD, Lara, Becky versus... Now, what I'm saying is you have Lara, Becky, Finn, and JD versus Liv, Raquel, Carlito, and Dominic Mysterio in an 8-man mixed gender match. I would love to see that. That would be really cool. They could do, and the way they could do this is like I said earlier, Dom is beating down on Finn with Carlito. JD comes out, those two come out, but then Liv and Raquel come out for the numbers, and then that's when Becky and Lyra come out. But if it's not that, it's going to be at least a one-on-one between Becky and Liv for the continuation of their story. In a Hell in a Cell match, in my eyes, it should be. Now that she's back, she's given me more hope, fire, passion, drive to make this ultimate dream, to make this dream of claiming the Ultimate Dream Championship, which is me meeting her in person at the future Australian PLE if she's there. Because this is the only way I can meet her, because I can only afford to go to WWE events. I'm not famous enough to go to other things like that where she'll be at, and I can just only afford to go to WWE events. So, and as I've said in the past, I am not going to be traveling to America as an Aussie because of who's in charge of the company. I just don't feel safe being a bisexual woman and his views. I vow for the net, as long as he's in power, I'm not going to travel to the US. So I've got to do it in international events. And as they're coming back to my home country of Australia later this year in October now, I want to meet Becky Lynch so badly. I got this close at Elimination Chamber. She was there. I was there. I just didn't have. So I would love to meet her. That's why I'm trying to fight so hard to get a priority pass and get one where it's Raw, SmackDown, and this PLE, whatever it is. And after today, I've got more hope, more fight, more drive to make this happen. I'm going to say, if it means I have to shave my head again, which I did in the past, I would do it. I would sell my soul to the final boss to make this happen. So, to Becky, fellow Happiness Fighter Army member, welcome back to WWE, and I hope you have a great time and enjoy what you're doing. Then we move on to the final match of WrestleMania 41, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. This match actually ended the way I thought it would, and it was a really good match though. Now we're going to start with the entrances. John Cena's no entrance, like visuals, just black with his name John Cena and his music playing, which made sense in my eyes. He's a heel. Why would you have the colour contrast with him? And then he just walked down the ring like him himself. And then we had Cody's entrance. He had motorbikes crossing over the ring, and then they stopped right there, and then Cody came out. He was wearing this awesome outfit. I'm going to say best male's outfit for night 2, and the only reason why is for his helmet, which reminded me of Ghost Rider mixed with Iron Man, because it popped up like an Iron Man helmet, and oh my god, I loved it. So yeah, he wins best outfit in the males category for night 2. And we had Cody's family there in the audience. We had Little Liberty and Brandy, his sister, Mama Rhodes was all in the audience, which I liked to see. And then the match started. And it was a bit slow to start, and that was because John Cena was taking a meaner, slower approach to his wrestling. But eventually it did pick up. Because of Cody, Cody brought it back to life a little bit. An AA by John Cena, a 5-knuckle shuffle by John Cena, another AA off the top rope from John Cena, a Cody cutter by Cody, another AA by John Cena, an STFU, and I thought Cody was down and out at that point because he kept dragging him back when he got close to the rings. And then eventually the ref got knocked out. So this was interesting. The ref got knocked out. the turnbuckle got exposed by John Cena at one point. Cody's head went wham onto that turnbuckle. And then we had another AA by John Cena. Then you hear Travis Scott's theme music for WrestleMania theme. And then Travis Scott came out with the Hardcore Championship, which I reckon he should defend that, in my eyes, against somebody. And then they bring that into the whole WWE company. It'd be awesome. You could have a Hardcore Champion again. That would be epic. But I digress. The ref does get waken up a bit. And it looks like Cody's going to win, but Travis Scott pulls him out of the ring. And then Travis Scott gets into the ring because Cody's like, you want to be in this match? Fine, come on in. And then he does a crossroads onto him. But then Cena's in the other corner with the undisputed WWE Championship in his hand. And he goes to use it, but Cody's like, no. Then Cody gets the belt off of John. And it looks like Cody's going to use it on John. But John's like, no, please, I'm sorry. But it was a trick. He does a low blow to Cody. And then John uses the belt on Cody. And the ref comes back in. 1, 2, 3. John Cena wins. John Cena is a 17-time champion again. And I'm not actually mad about this. It's setting up a really good storyline between celebrities, part-timers, influencers, non-wrestlers versus real wrestlers in the company. And yeah. So to John Cena, congratulations on becoming 17-time WWE champion and outdoing Ric Flair's record. And yeah, I don't mind that John Cena won. I reckon we're going to get these two again. And I'm going to say, if the PLE in Australia is Bad Blood, you could set those two up at Bad Blood. You could have Cody just go off or work his way back up to it and have these two have Bad Blood in Australia, if that is the PLE that's coming. But now, where do I see this story going in the future? Simple. One match. You have Cody Rhodes and we'll say Bad Bunny versus John Cena and Travis Scott in a tag team match. It could be a tag team tornado match as well. But I'm just saying a tag team match. Actually, I'm going to say tag team tornado match because then you could have the final boss come out and then Cody deal with the final boss for a while and then turn the story between John Cena and Cody at Bad Blood. Yeah. But, yeah. There's many possibilities and I can't wait. So, yeah, that's WrestleMania done and dusted. And now I'm going to give WrestleMania 41 I'm going to give it a 11 out of 10 smiley faces. Only because Becky Lynch returned and the Seth Rollins match was awesome. And Jay winning the World Heavyweight Championship and the Cody and John Cena match as well. Like, those matches were like, and I'll even say the EO versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley matches were awesome. The rest of the matches, they weren't bad, they just weren't like WrestleMania great in my eyes. But yeah, because of that, because of these matches, I'm giving it a 11 out of 10 smiley faces. And that ends my review of WrestleMania 41. So if you want to follow me on my socials, it's Hobbly the Happiness Fighter. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a happy, high, smiley, all joyful kind of day. If not, I'm sending you happiness, high, smiles, joyful hugs your way.